What is up, schmucks? Roast Turkey's back, and we're going to talk about Netflix again. Yeah, again, it's Netflix, whatever. So let's just jump right into it. It sounds weird to say, but Big Mouth is oddly similar to Stranger Things. Two shows, both about young children going on wacky adventures, they encounter weird monsters, and they deal with the perils of growing up and moving on with life. And both shows get worse with every season. Let's do a quick recap. Big Mouth Season 1 was totally fine for what it was. It came out at a time when I was head over heels for crude, raunchy sexual humor, so I liked it a bit the first time I watched it. But then I rewatched it like almost a year later, and I couldn't fucking stand it. Every joke was a sex joke, and they were crude for no reason, and none of them are funny. None of the jokes land in Season 1. A couple here and there, I guess, but on the whole, not that funny. Season 2 was worse, because it was just more of the same, and it didn't branch out and go in a different direction from Season 1. It was just the same shit, copied and pasted, and it just maintained its very childish antics. That's not to say Season 1 or 2 are bad. They're fine. They're totally fine. They're just weak. They're not exceptional is what I'm saying. Totally fine. They're serviceable at best, I guess, but just not my cup of tea. But let's get into Season 3, so that means it's review time. Season 3 of Big Mouth, which released in October 2019, sees the return of its gross-looking characters as they continue to traverse middle school and deal with puberty. Except that's not at all what this show is about anymore. Big Mouth prided itself on being this sex education show, a show that could help puberty-stricken teens deal with the ups and downs of puberty as they dealt with it in ways similar to that of the show's characters. And Season 1 was mostly that, with a few other themes thrown in there like pressure, anxiety, fear of change, to name a few. Season 2 was more of the same puberty stuff, but also they threw in new concepts like depression, stress, body positivity, dating amongst middle schoolers, and other things that are similar. Season 3, however, completely loses sight of its puberty-tackling attitude, and in exchange, they exclusively deal with current climate topics like feminism, viewing people as sexual objects, female empowerment, cell phone addiction, relationships, coming to terms with one's sexuality, and the pressure of taking tests. A few characters are still dealing with puberty issues, but there's such a small number of them, and they feel like an afterthought, which should not be the case in this show. Tackling puberty was the main thing, and now it's taking a backseat to other shit. What happened? And yeah, sure, you could say, well, fuck you, Roast. You don't even like this show, so what do you care? Yeah, granted, I don't really like this show, but if you make a show that's about teenagers going through puberty, I don't know, maybe make your show about teenagers going through fucking puberty. Instead, you lost sight of the vision, and you just started doing other shit. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Granted, all the ideas and the topics that Season 3 wants to discuss and tackle are relevant, and they're good topics. They're good things. They're things that should be touched on. But this show does it so goddamn poorly. This season brings up really interesting things, and it refuses, downright refuses, to dedicate any time or effort to actually discuss them and to write meaningful lines of dialogue about these topics. And so it begs the question, why bring it up? If you have nothing to say about it, why bring it up? Animated shows do this a lot. The writers will have something they want to talk about, some kind of modern day issue they want to take a stance on. Shows like BoJack Horseman, Rick and Morty, even things like South Park, they do this a lot. And it's usually because the writers actually have a stance they want to take on an issue. So they write it into their stories, they write it into the scripts, and then they discuss it, and then millions of people get to see it. And maybe sometimes there is no clear answer in the episode or the show, and the viewer is left to interpret it as they want. That's the joys of media, the joys of TV and movies. But Big Mouth Season 3 doesn't do that. It introduces topics that are interesting, that do promote discussion. But there's no discussion to be had in the show. The writers just don't fucking care. So they introduce these concepts, but go literally nowhere with them. This season also makes a lot of the show's characters so fucking unlikable. Most of them suck, especially Matthew, Lars, Nick, and Andrew. That's right, the two characters, Nick and Andrew, who are supposed to be the main ones, fucking suck. You can't root for them because they're both pieces of shit. The ones who are likable are the ones who get the least amount of screen time. Like Gina. Gina's hilarious, mostly because she's voiced by Gina Rodriguez, and I don't know, she's like innately funny. They give her good dialogue. They give her good quips here and there. She's part of funny bits. Gina is likable. Make her the main character.
You know what you are?
What?
You're a little fucking prick.
You're a little big boob bitch.
Get the fuck away from me.
Wait.
Jesse and Jay are also fun, and their arcs are interesting, and they're actually handled pretty well, so there's some outliers for this season. Jay, Jesse, and Gina, they're fun. Also, the saving grace of this show, we all know who it is. It's Maya Rudolph. Maya Rudolph as the hormone monstress is so fucking hilarious. Like, I don't know. I love Maya Rudolph. I've always loved Maya Rudolph. I think she's one of the funniest women working in comedy. She's so funny, and she really encapsulates the role and the voice she does. It's hilarious. It's great. She's the saving grace of this show. She's the only reason that I actually watched it. That, and I wanted to make content. But yeah, Maya Rudolph, fucking great. Love her. Also, some of the jokes are funny, kinda. There was at least 2 jokes in the episode that made me chuckle. Genuinely chuckle. Like, actually laugh. The season has a shit ton of jokes where somebody breaks the fourth wall and they recommend a Netflix show or they shit on another streaming service. The only reason I bring that up is because it's really jarring and it's really noticeable and it's not funny. They do it a lot. The bit's not funny the first time and it's not funny the 15th time. One last point. Each and every episode except the final one this season has a musical number. In seasons 1 and 2, the musical numbers were spaced out. They weren't any good, but at least they were done sparingly. And in season 3, however, they're in every goddamn episode, and every single musical number sucks fucking ass. Just, oh my god, Jesus Christ. I mean, oh fuck. This show went downhill so fast. I mean, it's amazing how bad this show is now. Obviously, all things are subjective, and if you really enjoy it, that's totally fine. You can like whatever you want, but for me, this show it fucking hurt my head. The only good episode this season was the Florida one, and I only think the reason I enjoyed it is because I live in Florida, and I just love the stereotypes of Florida just always being poked fun at. I always think that's funny. But yeah, it's the only good episode of the 10 episodes they put out. So yeah, 4 out of 10. Don't fucking watch it. Yeah, that just about does it. Sorry for all the swearing in this one. This one was more of a rant than a review. I actually went off script for a lot of that. Yeah, Big Mouth is trash, and I kind of hate it. I only watched season 3 so I can make content, like I said, and I'll probably end up doing the same for season 4, which will inevitably happen. Yeah, but that's it. If you enjoyed this, feel free to leave a like, and you can subscribe if you want to. It's up to you. I'm not going to force you to do anything. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. So, bye-bye, and I hope you have a wonderful day.